Okay. Ha la 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 la. La 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 la. Squirrely, 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 squirrel. Because they're stupid. Because they're stupid. Okay? Things seem to be going well. As you can tell, this is my first time doing something like this. So, I shall proceed to send off some links so people can say, hey, look at this guy. He's gonna read some shit. Stuff. Oh boy. Okay. Gonna read. Select all. Copy. This is reality right here. Reality before we get into some drama. Ooh. Let's see. Copy. Tweet. And for good measure, we'll throw on some Facebook as well. And post. Lovely sing of a flute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass. I, that am rudely stamped, and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton endling nymph. I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why I, in this weak, piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to see my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots I have laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence and the king in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive my thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence comes. Enter Clarence, guarded, and Brackenbury. Brother, good day. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace? His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower. Upon what cause? Because my name is George. Alack, my lord, that fault is none of yours. He should for that commit your godfathers. Oh, belike his Majesty hath some intent that you should be new christened in the Tower. But what's the matter, Clarence? May I know? Yea, Richard, when I know, for I protest, as I yet do not. But, as I can learn, he hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and from the crossroad plucks the letter G, and says a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be, and for my name of George begins with G. It follows in his thought that I am he. These, I learn, and such like toys as these, have moved his highness to commit me now. Why? This it is when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the tower. My Lady Grey, his wife, Clarence. 'Tis she that tempers him to this extremity. Was it not she and that good man of worship, Anthony Woodville, her brother there, that made him send Lord Hastings to the tower, from whence this present day he is delivered? We are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe. By heaven, our maid gentle folks. How say you, sir? Can you deny all this? With this, my lord, myself have naught to do. Naught to do with Mistress Shore. I tell thee, fellow, he that doth naught with her, excepting one, were best to do it secretly, alone. I do beseech your grace to pardon me, and withal forbear your conference with the noble duke. We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey. We are the queen's subjects, and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoever you will employ me in, were to call King Edward widow's sister, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in brotherhood touches me deeper than you can imagine. Sorry, hang on. Little sneaky break. Perfect. I know it pleaseth neither of us well. Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you or else lie for you. Meantime, have patience. I must, perforce. Farewell, exit Clarence, Brackenbury, and God. Go tread the path that thou shalt ne'er return. Simple, plain Clarence. I do love thee so that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven, if heaven will take the present at our hands. But who comes here? The new delivered Hastings. Enter, Lord Hastings. Good time of day unto my gracious lord. As much unto my good Lord Chamberlain. Well, are you welcome to the open air? How hath your lordship booked imprisonment? With patience, noble lord, as prisoners must. But I shall live, my lord, to give them thanks that were the cause of my imprisonment. No doubt, no doubt. And so shall Clarence too, for they that were your enemies are his, and have prevailed as much on him as you. More pity that the eagle should be mewed. What kites and buzzards prey at liberty? What news abroad? No news so bad abroad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians fear him mightily. Now, by St. John, that news is bad indeed. Oh, he hath kept an evil diet long, and overmuch consumed his royal person. 'Tis very grievous to be thought upon. Where is he? In his bed? He is. Go you before, and I will follow you. Exit Hastings. He cannot live, I hope, and must not die till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. All in urge to his hatred. More to Clarence, with lies well steeled with weighty arguments. And, if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence has not another day to live, which done, God take King Edward to his mercy, and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What through I killed her husband and her father? The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father, the which will I, not all so much for love as for another secret close intent, by marrying her, which I must reach unto. But yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes. Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then I must count my gains. Exit. Scene 2. Enter the course of Henry VI on a bier, with halberds to guard it, Lady Anne being the mourner, accompanied by gentlemen. Set down, your honourable load, if honour may be shrouded in a hearse, whilst I a while obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. They set down the bier. Poor key-code figure of a holy king, pale ashes of the house of Lancaster, thou bloodless remnant of that royal blood, be it lawful that I invocate my ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by the self-same hand that made these wounds. Lo, in these windows that let forth thy life, I pour the helpless balm of my poor eyes. Oh, cursed be the hand that made these holes. Cursed the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. More direful hap betide that hated wretch that makes us wretched by the death of thee, that I can wish to wolves, to spiders, toads, or any creeping venom thing that lives. If ever he have child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to light, whose ugly and unnatural aspect may fright the hopeful mother at the view, and that be heir to his unhappiness. If ever he have wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than I am by my young lord and thee. Come now towards Chertsey with your holy load, taken from Paul's to be intended there. They take up the bier. And still, as you are weary of this weight, rest you whiles I lament King Henry's course. Entered Richard, Duke of Gloucester. Stay that you bear the cause, and set it down. What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds? Villains, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course to him that disobeys. My lord, stand back and let a coffin pass. Unmannered dog, stand thou when I command. Avenge thy halberd higher than my breast, or by St. Paul, I'll strike thee to my foot and spurn upon thee, beggar, for thy boldness. They set down the bier. And the gentlemen and halberds. What? Do you tremble? Are you all afraid? Alas, I blame you not, for you are mortal, and mortal eyes cannot endure the devil. Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell. Thou hast but power over his mortal body. His soul thou canst not have. Therefore, be gone. Sweet saint, for charity, be not so cursed. Foul devil, for God's sake, hence, and trouble us not, for thou hast made thy happy earth thy hell. Filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims, if thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries. She points to the corpse. O gentlemen, see dead Henry's wounds. Open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh. Blush, thou lump of foul deformity. For 'tis thy present that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge. Whatever, most unnatural. O God, which this blood matched, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinkst, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick, as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered. Lady, you know no rules of charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses. Villain, thou know'st nor law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity. But I know none, and therefore am no beast. Oh, wonderful, when devils tell the truth! More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe, divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes to give me leave by circumstance but to acquit myself. Vouchsafe, diffused infection of a man, of these known evils but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self. Fouler than tongue can name thee. Let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself. Fouler than heart can think thee. Thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself. By such despair I should accuse myself. And by despairing shalt thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself that didst untrustworthy slaughter upon others. Say that I slew them not. Then say they were not slain, but that they are, and devilish slave by thee. I did not kill your husband. Why then is he alive? Nay, he is dead. and slain by Edward's hands. In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falcon smoking in its blood, the which thou once didst bend her against her breast, but thy brothers beat aside the point. I was provoked by her slanderous tongue, that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders. Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dreamt on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king? I grant you. Thus grant me, hedgehog! Then God grant me too. Thou mayst be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous. The better for the King of heaven that hath him. He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come. Let him thank me, that hope to send him thither. For he was fitter for that place than earth, and thou unfit for any place but hell. Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it. Some dungeon. Your bedchamber. I'll rest betide the chamber while thou liest. So will it, madam, till I lie with you. I hope so. I know so. But, gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall something into a slower method, is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry in other words, as blameful as the executioner? Thou wast the cause and most accursed effect. Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom. If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide. Suki, answer your question. Yes, I do intend to read all of Richard III. Ill-advised? Maybe. Do I want to do it still? Yes. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah. These nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks. These eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life. Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life. Curse not thyself, fair creature. Thou art both. I would I were to be revenged on thee. It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loveth thee. It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that killed my husband. He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband. His better doth not breathe upon the earth. He lives that loves thee better than he could. Name him, Plantagenet. Why, that was he, the self-named same, but one of better nature. Where is he? Here. She spits at him. Why dost thou spit at me? Would it were mortal poison for thy sake? Never came poison from so sweet a place. Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight! Thou dost infect mine eyes. Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine. Would they were ballasts to strike thee dead. My word they were, that I might die at once. For now they kill me with a living death. Those eyes of thine from mine have drawn salt tears, shamed their aspects with store of childish drops. These eyes, which never shed remorseful tear. No, and my father York and Edward wept to hear the piteous moan that Rutland made, when black-faced Clifford shook his sword at him, nor when they warlike father, like a child, told the sad story of my father's death, and 20 times made pause to sob and weep, that all the standards by had wet their cheeks, like trees bedashed with rain. In that sad time, my manly eyes did scorn a humble tear. And what these sorrows could not balance... And what these sorrows could not thence exhale, thy beauty hath and made them blind with weeping. I never sued to friend nor enemy. My tongue could never learn sweet smoothing word. But now thy beauty has proposed my fee. My proud heart sues and prompts my tongue to speak. She looks scornfully at him. Teach not thy lips such scorn. For it was made for kissing, lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which, if thou please, to hide in this true breast, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee. I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg death upon thy knee. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry. But 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch. 'Twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. Take up the sword again, or take up me. Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be thy executioner. Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it. I have already. That was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with the word, this hen, which for thy love did kill thy love, shall for thy love kill a far truer love. To both their deaths shalt be accessory. I would knew thy heart. 'Tis figured in my tongue. I fear me both are false. Then never was man true. Well, well. Put up your sword. Say then my peace is made. That shalt thou know hereafter. But shall I live in hope? All men, I hope, live so. Vouchsafe to wear this ring. To take is not to give. He places the ring on her hand. Look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart, where both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted servant may but beg for one favor at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever. What is it? That it may please you, leave these sad designs to him that have most cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, where, after I have solemnly interred at Chertsey Monastery this noble king, and wet his grave with my repentant tears, I will with all expedient duty see you. For divers unknown reasons, I beseech you, grant me this boon. With all my heart, and much as it joys me to see you become so penitent. Blah. Tressel and Berkeley, go along with me. Bid me farewell. 'Tis more than you deserve, but since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already. 2 eggs within. The beer is taken up. Towards Chertsey, noble lord. No, to Whitefriars. There, attend my coming. Halberds and gentlemen exit with course. Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What? That I that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred by, having God, her conscience, and these bars against me, and I no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her, all the world to nothing! Ha! Hath she forgot already that brave prince, Edward, her lord, whom I, some 3 months since, stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? A sweeter and lovelier gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature. My throat. Where was I? I'll just start over on this part. Sorry. Was ever a woman in this humor wooed? Was ever a woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. Okay, here we go. All right. Let's start over again. Okay. Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What? I that killed her husband and his father, to take her in her heart, its extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred be, having God, her conscience, and these bars against me? And I no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her, all the world to nothing! Ha! Hath she forgot already that brave Prince Edward, her lord, whom I some 3 months since stabbed my angry mood at Tewkesbury? A sweeter and lovelier gentleman, framed in the prodigality of nature, young, valiant, wise, and, no doubt, right royal. The spacious world cannot again afford, and will she yet abase her eyes on me, that cropped the golden prime of this sweet prince, and made her widow to a woeful bed? On me, whose all not equals Edward's moiety, on me that halts and am misshapen thus, my dukedom to a beggarly denier. I do mistake my person all this while. Upon my life, she finds, although I cannot, myself be a marvelous proper man. I will be at charges for a looking glass, and entertain a score or two of tailors to study fashions to adorn my body, since I am crept in favor with myself. I will maintain it with some little cost, but first I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass. See, I got an audience of 2. Hello. I hope you're enjoying. Because to be honest, I kind of am. Anyways. Scene 3. Enter Queen Elizabeth, the Lord Marquess of Dorset, Lord Rivers, and Lord Grey. Have patience, madam. There's no doubt His Majesty will soon recover his accustomed health. In that you brook it ill, it makes him worse. Therefore, for God's sake, entertain good comfort and cheer his grace with quick and merry eyes. If he were dead, what would betide on me? No other harm but loss of such a lord. The loss of such a lord includes all harms. The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son to be your comforter when he is gone. Ah, he is young, and his minority is put into the trust of Richard Gloucester, a man that loves not me nor none of you. Is it concluded he shall be protector? It is determined, not concluded yet. But so it must be if the king miscarry. Enter Buckingham and Lord Stanley, Earl of Derby. Here comes the Lord of Buckingham and Derby. Good time of day unto your royal grace. God make your majesty joyful, as you have been. The Countess Richmond, good my Lord of Derby, to your good prayer will scarcely say amen. Yet Derby, notwithstanding, she's your wife, and loves not me. Be you, good lord, assured I hate not you for her proud arrogance. I do beseech you either not believe the envious slanders of her false accusers, or, if she be accused on true report, bear with her weakness, which I think proceeds from wayward sickness and no grounded malice. Saw you the king today, my lord of Derby? But now the Duke of Buckingham and I are coming visiting from his majesty. What likelihood of his amendment, lords? Madam, good hope. His grace speaks cheerfully. God grant him health. Did you confer with him? Aye, madam. He desires to make atonement between the Sorry. Okay. Aye, madam. He desires to make atonement between the Duke of Gloucester and your brothers, and between them and my Lord Chamberlain, and sent to warn them to his royal presence. Would all were well, but that would never be. I fear our happiness is at the height. Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester, and Hastings. They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not? By holy Paul, they love his grace, but lightly that fill his ears with such dissentient rumors, because I cannot flather and look fair, smile in men's faces, smooth, deceive, and cog, duck with French nods and appish courtesy. I must be held a rancorous enemy. Cannot a plain man live and think no harm, but thus his simple truth must be abused with silken, sly, insinuating jacks? To all in this presence, to in all this presence speaks your grace? To thee, that has nor honesty nor grace. When have I injured thee? When done thee wrong? Or thee? Or thee? Or any of your faction? A plague upon you all! His royal grace, whom God preserve better than you would wish, cannot be quiet, scarce a breathing, while but you must trouble him with lewd complaints. Brother of Gloucester, you mistake the matter. The king, on his own royal disposition, and not provoked by any suitor else, aiming belike at your interior hatred that in your outward action shows itself against my children, brothers, and myself, makes him to send that he may learn the ground. I cannot tell. The world is grown so bad that wrens make prey where eagles dare not perch. Since every jack became a gentleman, there is many a gentle person made a jack. Come, we know your meaning, brother Gloucester. You envied my advancement, and my friends, God grant we never may have need of you. Meantime, God grants that we have need of you. My brother is imprisoned by your means, myself disgraced, and the nobility held in contempt. While great promotions are daily given to ennoble those that scarce come 2 days since were worth a noble. By him that raised me to this By him that raised me to this careful height, from that contented hap which I enjoyed, I never did incense his majesty against the Duke of Clarence, but have been an earnest advocate to plead for him. My lord, you do me no shameful injury falsely to draw me in these vile suspects. You may deny that you were not the mean of my lord Hastings' late imprisonment. She may, my lord, she may, Lord Rivers. Why? Who does not know? Who knows not so? She may do more, sir, than denying that. She may help you to many fair preferments, and then deny her aiding hand therein, and lay those honors on your high desert. What may she not? She may, marry, may she? What, marry, may she? What marry may she? Marry with a king, a bachelor, and a handsome stripling too. It was your grandam had a worser match. My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty of those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I had rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at. Enter old Queen Margaret, apart from the others. Small joy have I in being England's queen. And lesson be that small, God, I beseech him, thy honor state, and seat is due to me. What? Threat? What? Threat do you mean with telling of the king? Tell him and spare not. Look what I have said. I will avouch in the presence of the king. I dare adventure to be sent to the tower. 'Tis time to speak. My pains are quite forgot. Out, devil! I do remember them too well. Thou killedst my husband Henry in the tower, and Edward, my poor son, at Tewkesbury. Ere you were queen, or your husband king, I was a pack horse in his great affairs, a weeder out of his proud adversaries. A liberal rewarder to his friends, to royalize his blood, I spent mine own. Aye, and much better blood than his or mine. In all which time, you and your husband in grey were factious for the house of Lancaster, and Rivers, so were you. Was not your husband in Margaret's battle at St. Albans slain? Let me put in your minds, if you forget, what you have been ere this, and what you are. Withal, what I have been, and what I am. A murderous villain, and so still thou art. Poor Clarence did forsake his father Warwick. Sorry. Poor Clarence did forsake his father Warwick. Aye, and forswore himself, which Jesu pardon, which God revenge, to fight on Edward's party for the crown. And for his meed, poor lord, he is mewed up. I would to God my heart were flint, like Edward's, or Edward soft and pitiful, like mine? I am too childish, foolish for this world. Hie thee to hell for shame, and leave this world, thou cacodemon. There thy kingdom is, my lord of Gloucester. In those busy days which here you urge to prove us enemies, we followed then our lord, our sovereign king. So should we you, if you should be our king. If I should be, I had rather be a peddler. Far be it from my heart the thought thereof. As little joy, my lord, as you suppose you should enjoy, were you this country's king. As little joy you may suppose in me that I enjoy, being the queen thereof. As little joy enjoys the queen thereof, for I am she, and altogether joyless. I can no longer hold me patient. Hear me, you wrangling pirates, that fall out in sharing that which you have pilled from me. Which of you trembles not that looks on me? If not, that I am queen. You bow like subjects, yet that by you deposed, you quake like rebels. Ah, gentle villain, do not turn away. Thou wrinkled witch, what makest thou in my sight? But repetition of what thou hast marred, that I will make before I let thee go. Wert thou not banished on pain of death? I was, but I do find more pain in banishment than death can yield here by my abode. A husband and son thou owest to me, and thou a kingdom, all of you, allegiance. This sorrow I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine. The curse my noble father laid on thee when thou didst crown his warlike brows with paper. And with thy scorn strewest rivers from his eyes, and then, to dry them, gavest the Duke a clout steeped in the faultless blood of pretty Bleh. This is pretty much how I was in high school when reading stuff like this. It's authentic, and it's live. Woo! Anyhow. Steeped in the faultless blood of pretty Rutland, his curses then, from bitterness of soul, denounced against thee, are all fallen upon thee, and God, not we, have plagued thy bloody deed. So just is God to right the innocent. Oh, 'twas the foulest deed to slay that babe, and the most merciless that e'er was heard of. Tyrants wept themselves when it was reported. No man but prophesied revenge for it. Northumberland, and then present, wept to see it. What? Were you all snarling before I came, ready to catch each other by the throat, and turn you all your hatred now on me? Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, their kingdom's loss, my woeful banishment, should all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then, give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. Though not by war, by sure fit die your king, and ours by murder to make him a king. Edward thy son, that is now Prince of Wales, for Edward, our son, that was Prince of Wales. Die in his youth by like untimely violence, thyself a queen, for me that was a queen. Outlive thy glory, like my wretched self. Long mayst thou live to wail thy children's death, and see another as I see thee now, decked in thy rights as thou art stalled in mine. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and, after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither monster, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, your standards by, and so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. God, I pray him that none of you may live to see his natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off. Have done thy charm, thou hateful withered hag, and leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. If heaven have any grievous plague in store, exceeding those that I can wish upon thee, oh, let them keep it till thy sins be ripe, and then hurl down their indignation on thee, the troubler of the poor world's peace. The worm of conscience still begnaw my soul. thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, then take deep traitors for thy dearest friends. No sleep close up that deadly eye of thine, unless it be while some tormenting dream affrights thee with a hell of ugly devils, thou elvish-marked, abortive, rooting hog! Thou that waste and sealed in thy nativity, the slave of nature and the son of hell, thou slander of thy heavy mother's womb, thou loathed issue of thy father's loin, thou rag of honor, thou detested Margaret. Richard! Ha? I call thee not. I cry thee mercy then. For I did think that thou hast called me all these bitter names. Why, so I did, but look for no reply. Oh, let me make the period to my curse. 'Tis done by me and ends in Margaret. Thus you have breathed your curse against yourself. Poor painted queen, vain flourish of my fortune, why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web and snare of thee about? Fool! Fool, thou west a knife to kill thyself. The day will come that thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous bunch-backed toad. False boding woman, end thy frantic curse, lest to thy harm thou move our patience. Foul shame upon you! You have all moved mine. Were you well served, you would be taught your duty. To serve me well! You all should do me duty. Teach me to be your queen, and you my subjects. Oh, serve me well, and teach yourselves that duty! Dispute not with her. She is lunatic. Peace, Master Marcus. You are malpert. Your fire new stamp of honor is scarce current. Oh, that your young nobility could judge what 'twere to lose it and be miserable. That they that stand high have many blasts to shake them, and if they fall, they dash themselves to pieces. Good counsel, Mary. Learn it, Marquise. It touches you, my lord, as much as me. Aye, and much more. But I was born so high. Our eyrie buildeth in the cedar's top, and dallies with the wind, and scorns the sun, and turns the sun to shade. Alas, alas, witness my son, now in the shade of death, who bright outshining beams thy cloudy wrath, hath in eternal darkness folded up. Your eyrie buildeth in our eyrie's nest. O God, that seest, do not suffer it, as it is one with blood, lost be it so. Peace, peace, for shame, if not for charity. Urge neither charity nor shame to me. Uncharitably with me have you dealt, and shamefully my hopes by you are butchered. My charity is outrage, life my shame, and in that shame still live my sorrow's rage. Have done, have done. O princely Buckingham, I'll kiss thy hand. In sign of league and amity with thee, now fair befall thee in thy noble house. Thy garments are not spotted with our blood, nor thou within the compass of my curse. Nor no one here, for curses never pass the lips of those that breathe them in the air. I will not think, but they ascend the sky, and there awakes God's gentle sleeping peace. O Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venom tooth will rankle to the death. Have not to do with him. Beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him, and all their ministers attend on him. What doth she say, my lord of Buckingham? Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord. What? Dost thou scorn me for my gentle counsel, and soothe the devil that I warn thee from? Oh, but remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow, and say poor Margaret was a prophetess. Live each of you the subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's. She exits. My hair doth stand an end to hear her curses, and so doth mine. I muse while she's at liberty. I cannot blame her. By God's holy mother, she hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof that I have done to her. I never did her any, to my knowledge. Yet you have all the vantage of her wrong. I was too hot to do somebody good. That is too cold in thinking of it now. Marry, as for Clarence, he is well repaid. He is franked up to fatting for his pains. God pardon them that are the cause thereof. A virtuous and Christian-like conclusion to pray for them, and that have done scathe to us. So do I ever, being well advised, for I had cursed now. I had cursed myself. Enter Catesby. Madam, his majesty doth call for you, and for your grace, and yours, my gracious lords. Catesby, I come. Lords, will you go with me? We wait upon your grace. All but Richard, Duke of Gloucester, exit. I do the wrong in the first begin... Sorry, more water. Here we go. I do the wrong and first begin to brawl. The secret mischiefs that set abroach I lay unto the grievous charge of others. Clarence, who I indeed have cast in darkness, I do beweep to so many simple gulls, namely to Durbin, Hastings, Buckingham. Tell them 'tis the queen and her allies that stir the king against the duke my brother. Now they believe it, and withal wet me to be revenged on Rivers, Dorset, and Grey. But then I sigh, and, with a piece of scripture, tell them that God bids us to do good for evil. And thus I clothe my naked villainy, with odd old ends stolen forth of holy writ, and seem a saint, when most I play the devil. Enter two murderers. But soft, here come my executioners. How now, my hearty, stout, resolved mates? Are you now going to dispatch this thing? We are, my lord, and come to have the warrant that we may be admitted where he is. Well, thought upon, I have it here about me. When you are done, repair to Cosby Place. But, sirs, be sudden in the execution, withal obdurate. Do not hear him plead, for Clarence is well spoken, and perhaps may move your hearts to pity if you mark him. Tut, tut, my lord, we will not stand to prate. Talkers are no good doers. Be assured, we go to use our hands and not our tongues. Your eyes drop millstones when fools' eyes fall tears. I like you, lads. About your business straight. Go, dispatch. We will, my noble lord. They exit. Alrighty, another drink of water before we get into scene 4. 50 minutes. Been doing this for 50 minutes now. And to be honest, I'm enjoying myself. And for the one person watching, hey. Anyhow. Scene 4. Enter Clarence and Keeper. Why looks your grace so heavily today? Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams, of ugly sights, that, as I am a Christian faithful man, would not spend another such a night, though 'twere to buy a word of happy days, so full of dismal terror was the time. What was your dream, my lord? I pray you tell me. Methoughts that I had broken from the tower and was embarked to cross to Burgundy, and in my company my brother Gloucester, who from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. Thence we looked toward England, and sighted up 1,000 heavy times during the wars of York and Lancaster that had befallen us. As we paced along upon the giddy footing of the hatches, methought that Gloucester stumbled, and in falling struck me, that thought to stay him overboard into the tumbling billows of the main. O Lord, methought what pain it was to drown, what dreadful noise of waters in my ears, what sights of ugly death within my ears. Methoughts I saw 1,000 fearful wracks, 1,000 men that fishes not upon, wedges of gold, great anchors, heaps of pearl, inestimable stones, unvalued jewels, all scattered at the bottom of the sea. Some lay in dead men's skulls, and in the holes where eyes did once inhabit, they were kept, as 'twere in scorn of eyes reflecting gems, that wooed the slimy bottom of the deep, and mocked the dead bones that lay scattered by. Had ye such leisure, in the time of death, to gaze upon the secrets of the deep? Methought I had, and often did I strive to yield the ghost, but still the envious flood stopped in my soul and would not let it forth, to find the empty, vast, and wandering air, but smothered it within my panting bulk, who almost burst to belch it in the sea. Await you not in this sore agony. No, no. My dream was lengthened after life. Oh, then began the tempest to my soul. I passed, methought, the melancholy flood, with that sour ferryman which poets write of, unto the kingdom of perpetual night. That first that there did greet my stranger soul was my great father-in-law, renowned Warwick, who spake aloud, "What scourge for perjury can this dark monarchy afford, false Clarence?" And so he vanished. Then came wandering by a shadow like an angel, with bright hair, dabbled in blood, and he shrieked out aloud, "Clarence is come! False, fleeting, perjured Clarence, that stabbed me in the field by Tewkesbury. Seize on him, furies! Take him into torment." With that, methoughts, a legion of foul fiends environed me and howled in thine ears. Such hideous cries that with the very noise I trembling waked, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell. Such terrible impression made my dream. No marvel, Lord. Thought it affrighted you. I'm afraid, methinks, you here to tell it. Ah, keeper, keeper, I have done these things that now give evidence against my soul, for Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. O God, if my deep prayers cannot appease thee, but thou wilt be avenged on my misdeeds, yet execute thy wrath in me alone. O spare my guiltless wife and my poor children. Keeper, I prithee, sit by me a while. My soul is heavy, and I fain would sleep. I will, my lord. God give your grace good rest. Clarence sleeps. Enter Brackenbury, the lieutenant. Sorrow breaks seasons and reposing hours, makes the night morning and the noontide night. Princes have but their titles for their glories, an outward honor for an inward toil, and for unfelt imaginations. They often feel a world of restless cares, so that between their titles and low name, there's nothing differs but the outward fame. Enter two murderers. Ho! Who's there? Dang paper. What wouldst thou, fellow? And how camest thou hither? I would speak with Clarence. I came hither on my legs. What, so brief? 'Tis better, sir, than to be tedious. Let him see our commission, and talk no more. At this point, Brackenbury reads the commission. I am in this commanded to deliver the noble Duke of Clarence to your hands. I will not reason what is meant hereby, because I will be guiltless from the meaning. There lies the Duke asleep, and there the keys. He hands him keys. I'll to the king and signify to him that thus I have resigned you to my charge. You may, sir. 'Tis a point of wisdom. Fare you well. Brackenbury and the keeper exit. What? Shall I stab him while he sleeps? No, to say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes. Why, he shall never wake until the great judgment day. Why, then he'll say we stabbed him sleeping. The urging of that word judgment hath brought a kind of remorse in me. What, art thou afraid? Not to kill him, having a warrant, but to be damned for killing him, from which no one can defend me. I thought thou hadst been resolute. So I am, to let him live. I'll be back to that Duke of Gloucester and tell him so. Nay, I prithee, stay a little. I hope this passionate humour of mine will change. It won't hold me but while one tells 20. How dost thou feel thyself now? Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me. Remember our reward when the deed's done. Sounds, he dies. I forgot the reward. Where's thy conscience now? Oh, in the Duke of Gloucester's purse. When he opens his purse to give a reward, thy conscience flies out. 'Tis no matter. Men will not meddle with it, and makes a man a coward. A man cannot steal, but it accuseth him. A man cannot swear, but it checks him. A man cannot lie with his neighbor's wife, but it detects him. 'Tis a blushing, shamefaced spirit that mutinies in a man's bosom. It fills a man full of obstacles. It made me once restore a purse of gold that by chance I found. It beggars any man that keeps it. It is turned out of towns and cities for a dangerous thing. And every man that means to live well endeavors to trust himself and live without it. Sounds. 'Tis even now at my elbow, persuading me not to kill the Duke. Take that devil in thy mind. And believe him not. He would insinuate with thee, but to make thee sigh. I am strong famed. Cannot prevail with me. Spoke like a tall man that respects thy reputation. Come, shall we fall to work? Take him on the costard, with the hilt of thy sword, and then throw him into the mousey butt in the next room. Oh, excellent device! And make a sob of him! Soft! He wakes! Strike! No! Or reason with him. Where art thou, keeper? Give me a cup of wine. You shall have wine enough, my lord Anon. In God's name, who art thou? A man, as you are, but not, as I am, royal. Nor you, as we are, loyal. Thy voice is thunder, but thy looks are humble. My voice is now the king's, my looks mine own. How darkly and how deadly dost thou speak? Your eyes do menace me. Why look you pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come? To murder me? Aye, aye. You scarcely have the hearts to tell me so, and therefore cannot have the hearts to do it. Wherein, my friends, have I offended you? Offended us, you have not, but the king. I shall be reconciled to him again. Never, my lord. Therefore, prepare to die. Are you drawn forth among a world of men to slay the innocent? What is my offense? Where is the evidence that doth accuse me? What lawful quest have given their verdict up to the frowning judge? Or who pronounced the bitter sentence of poor Clarence death before I be convicted by courts of law? To threaten me with death is most unlawful. I charge you, as you hope, to have redemption by Christ's dear blood shed for our grievous sins, that you depart and lay no hands on me. The deed you undertake is damnable. What we will do, we do upon command. And he that hath commanded is our king. Erroneous vassals, the great King of Kings hath in the table of his law commanded that thou shalt not do murder. Will you then spurn at his edict and fulfill a man's? Take heed, for he holds vengeance in his hand to hurl upon their heads that break his law. And that same vengeance doth he hurl on thee, but false for swearing and for murder too. Thou didst receive the sacrament to fight in quarrel of the house of Lancaster. And like a traitor to the name of God, didst thou break that vow, and with thy treacherous blade unwrist the bowels of thy sovereign son, whom thou wast sworn to cherish and defend? How canst thou urge God's dreadful law to us, when you hast broke it in such dear degree? Alas! For whose sake did I that ill deed? For Edward, my brother, for his sake. He sends you not to murder me for this, for in that sin is as deep as I. If God will be avenged for the deed, oh, know you yet he doth it publicly. Take not the quarrel from his powerful arm. He needs no indirect or lawless course to cut off those that have offended him. Who made thee, then, a bloody minister, with gallant springing, brave Plagnant, that princely novice was struck dead by thee? My brother's love, the devil, and my rage. Thy brother's love, our duty, and thy faults provoke us hither now to slaughter thee. If you do love my brother, hate not me. I am his brother, and I love him well. If you are hired for mead, go back again. And I will send you to my brother Gloucester, who shall reward you better for my life than Edward will for tidings of my death. You are deceived. Your brother Gloucester hates you. Oh no, he loves me, and he holds me dear.